As the giant opponent steps into the ring, the crowd's roar intensifies, and the ground itself seems to tremble. The human, Alex, looks up, determination etched across his features. The central question hangs heavy in the air. Is human ingenuity enough to topple brute strength in a game where no human has ever succeeded? In the sprawling cosmos, where stars and civilizations collided in the grand spectacle of the Kragathor Death Matches, Alex's presence was an anomaly. An engineer from Earth, he was neither born of war nor sculpted for battle like the titans he was set against. Yet, there he stood, an unassuming human, amid a sea of interstellar behemoths, each a veteran of wars that had painted entire planets red. The Galactic stage was an arena that stretched across the skies of Varnaxis, a planet famous for its brutal tournaments. Here, combatants from the far reaches of the galaxy gathered, their bodies honed into weapons through millennia of evolution and technology. These were fighters who breathed the rarefied air of celestial champions, except for one. Alex, with his slight build and scholarly demeanor, stuck out like a sore thumb. His selection had sent ripples of disbelief across the galaxy. Whispers filled the crowded stands, a mixture of intrigue and scoffs from alien spectators who viewed his human frame as little more than a novelty. On his first day of training, Alex entered the arena's hallowed grounds, where gravity was manipulated with ease and the air shimmered with alien energies. His initial attempts to spar with the native Grok, creatures whose mere punches could fracture asteroids, were borderline comedic. Each blow sent him reeling, a vivid testament to his physical inadequacy. Yet, as days turned into nights, something remarkable began to unfold. Alex's mind, sharp as a photon blade, dissected each failure, each fall. Where his body lacked, his intellect thrived. He started to adapt, using his deep understanding of physics to predict and evade attacks, rather than meet them head-on. Slowly, he turned his observations into tactics, leveraging the very technology of the arena that once overwhelmed him. One evening, as the twin suns of Varnaxis dipped below the horizon, Alex found himself alone in the training quadrant with Thier, the reigning champion from the Cygnus cluster. The giant creature, covered in scales that could deflect laser fire, approached him. Its voice boomed through the translator unit, deep and mocking. "Little human, why do you persist? You do not belong here among the stars' warriors." Alex wiped the sweat from his brow, his eyes never leaving the towering figure before him. "Maybe I don't," he admitted, his voice steady. "But perhaps there's more to winning here than just brute strength. Maybe someone like me can change the game." Thier laughed, a sound that echoed off the metallic walls. "Change the game? You need to survive it first, human." Survive he did. Each session, each challenge that Alex overcame, built not just his skills, but a budding respect from a few of the other competitors. They began to see not just a human, but a strategist, a contender who could turn the tide of battle in ways they had never imagined. As the Kragathor Death Matches officially began, Alex's name echoed through the arena, a human curiosity in a spectacle dominated by creatures of myth and nightmare. His first opponent was a Zeltronian, a being capable of manipulating water, whose form ebbed and flowed like the tides of its oceanic homeworld. The match was a dance of dodges and near misses for Alex. The Zeltronian's attacks were relentless, sending waves crashing down in the arena. Alex, however, used his agility and analytical mind to find patterns in the water movements, managing narrow escapes that drew gasps and murmurs from the audience. His victory came as he ingeniously redirected the arena's environmental controls to momentarily disrupt his opponent's fluid form, giving him just enough time to strike a decisive blow. With each subsequent match, the challenges escalated. Alex faced a Telnarian whose telepathic assaults could have crippled a lesser mind. Yet Alex, with technology shielding his neural pathways, turned what was a psychological battlefield into a testament to human resilience. The crowd began to take notice, their previous jeers turning into begrudging respect as he outsmarted another seemingly unbeatable foe. However, not all were swayed by Alex's unexpected prowess. Among the competitors, a group of battle-hardened veterans from the war-torn sectors of Andromeda scoffed at the notion of a human holding his ground in what they deemed a war of the cosmos. "He's a trickster," they muttered among themselves, relying on gadgets and gimmicks. Their disdain for his unconventional methods brewed a hostile atmosphere, both in and out of the arena. As the tournament progressed, fatigue began to wear on Alex. The physical toll of back-to-back battles and the mental strain of constantly having to outthink superhuman abilities pushed him to his limits. His body bore bruises and cuts that healed slower than his spirit rebounded. The climax of these trials came when Alex stood opposite Korvax the Annihilator, a behemoth from a silicon-based planet, impervious to most physical attacks. The match was brutal. Korvax's strength was overwhelming. Each strike felt like a meteor impact, and his skin turned aside Alex's best tactical maneuvers. For the first time, Alex's cleverness seemed to falter against sheer, unyielding power. The turning point was a miscalculated risk that saw Alex trapped under a collapsed pillar, his escape routes blocked by the arena's shifting terrain, a new feature intended to add unpredictability to the fights. As Korvax closed in for the final blow, the crowd held its breath, some in anticipation, others in dawning dread. In the aftermath of his crushing defeat by Korvax the Annihilator, Alex found himself spiraling into a chasm of doubt and despair. The echoes of the crowd's roars and the thud of Korvax's blows lingered in his mind like ghosts of battles past. For the first time since stepping into the Galactic arena, Alex questioned his purpose there. Could a human, a species so physically outmatched, truly contend in a tournament designed to celebrate the apex of cosmic warriors? Retreating to the quietude of his quarters, a stark utilitarian space adorned only with the essentials for survival and recovery, Alex shut out the world. The holographic vistas of interstellar landscapes flickered unnoticed as he brooded over his place in the cosmos. The physical pain of his injuries was a mere echo of the turmoil racking his spirit. It was in this abyss of solitude that Alex's thoughts turned inward. With each replay of his battles, a spark of realization began to glow amid the darkness. The pattern was there, subtle but unmistakable. His opponents, though diverse in form and ability, had relied heavily on their innate powers that, while formidable, led them to predictable strategies when faced with an unknown like him. "Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong," Alex murmured to himself, his voice a whisper against the hum of the ship's life support systems. His gaze drifted to the tangled mess of his engineering tools, a comforting reminder of his roots. They used their strengths predictably, but what if I could turn their predictability into my advantage? Fueled by a renewed sense of purpose, Alex began the painstaking process of analyzing every fight, not just for what had happened, but for what could happen. He simulated battles in his virtual environment, testing theories and strategies late into the cycle's night. With each session, his confidence began to rebuild, not in his physical abilities, but in his human ingenuity, his capacity to think differently, to outmaneuver rather than overpower. As his physical wounds healed, so too did his resolve strengthen. Alex knew that to win, he had to innovate beyond the conventional tactics of the tournament. He needed to bring something new to the arena, something so uniquely human that it could not be anticipated by beings who had never had to rely on cunning over brute strength. Back in the arena for a routine training session, Alex tinkered with the environmental controls, a remnant of his engineering curiosity. As he manipulated the gravity settings, an idea sparked an unconventional approach that could leverage the very physics of the arena to his advantage. While experimenting, he stumbled upon a mechanism that could alter the density of localized air pockets, essentially creating invisible barriers or sudden gusts that could disrupt an opponent's balance or trajectory. Excited by this discovery, Alex spent hours refining this technique, integrating it with his movements until it became a seamless extension of his combat style. During one such session, a figure lingered in the shadows of the training grounds, a Solarian named Threx, known for his stoic demeanor and tactical prowess. Threx, who had watched Alex's progress from a dismissive distance, now observed the human's ingenuity with newfound respect. "Your approach, human it is. Unconventional," Threx finally spoke, his voice a low rumble that vibrated through the cool air of the arena. Alex paused, turning to face the towering Solarian. "Unconventional times call for unconventional methods," he replied, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. Threx nodded, stepping into the light, his chitinous armor catching the glint of the overhead lights. "Perhaps there is merit in your madness. Would you consider a spar? I am curious to see how your methods hold against Solarian tactics." Grateful for the opportunity, Alex agreed. The spar proved enlightening for both. Alex's new technique disoriented Threx initially, allowing Alex to gain the upper hand. However, Threx's adaptability pushed Alex to further refine his approach, turning the session into a vigorous exchange of skills and insights. Impressed, Threx offered his alliance. "There is strength in your creativity, Alex. It would be my honor to assist you in mastering these techniques for your next battles," he declared, extending a clawed hand in solidarity. With Threx's help, Alex honed his newfound technique, preparing to unveil it in his next official match. The arena buzzed with anticipation as rumors of Alex's unusual training spread among the spectators and competitors alike. When the day of the match arrived, Alex entered the arena with a calm determination. His opponent was a formidable Nyxian gladiator, known for his explosive power and ruthless aggression. As the match commenced, Alex's strategy became apparent. He used his control over the environment to create sudden shifts in air density, cleverly manipulating his opponent's movements, turning the Nyxian's strength against him. Each attempt the Nyxian made to launch an attack was thwarted by invisible forces that left him grappling with thin air. In the pulsating heart of the Varnaxis arena, where the finals of the Kragathor Death Matches were set to unfold, Alex stood, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. The crowd, a mosaic of countless species, buzzed with anticipation, their earlier skepticism replaced by palpable excitement. Today, Alex was not just a participant. He was a contender whose strategies had disrupted the traditional dynamics of the tournament. Across from him stood his final opponent, the reigning champion Kragathor, whose victories were written in the scars of his enemies and celebrated in songs across galaxies. Kragathor's eyes, burning with the fury of a star-going supernova, were fixed on Alex. The air was thick with the electric charge of impending battle. "Human," Kragathor's voice thundered, resonating off the arena walls. "You have surprised many, but it ends now. There is no trickery that will save you this time." Alex met Kragathor's gaze, his expression calm, a stark contrast to the swirling chaos around them. "It's not about trickery," he responded, his voice steady and clear. "It's about evolution. Adapt or perish, isn't that the rule of the cosmos?" As the starting signal echoed through the arena, Kragathor charged with the might of a comet, confident in his physical superiority. But Alex was prepared. Utilizing his environmental manipulation techniques, he altered the gravitational pull around Kragathor, slowing the giant's punishing advance just enough to level the playing field. Each of Kragathor's strikes, usually devastating, was expertly dodged or mitigated by Alex's strategic manipulations of the arena's elements. Alex's movements were fluid, almost anticipatory, as he cleverly redirected energy and used the champion's own momentum against him. The battle raged, a ballet of force and counterforce, until Alex, seizing a critical opening, activated a dense air pocket just as Krelok's launched a ferocious attack. The sudden resistance threw Krelok's off balance, and Alex moved in swiftly, delivering a decisive strike. A hush fell over the crowd as Krelok stumbled and fell, a giant felled by the slingshot of human innovation. As the referee declared the match over, the arena erupted into cheers and roars of disbelief. Alex had done the unthinkable, defeating Krelok's using not just strength but science, strategy, and the spirit of human perseverance.